I am Filther, supreme matchmaker of the galaxy. The booming voice echoed across the cosmos. 1,000 species tuned in. Sentient slimes jiggled in excitement. Eight-legged crustacean beings clapped their pincers. Even the amorphous gas clouds emitted enthusiastic bursts of radiation. Welcome to Love Beyond Stars. The audience roared. Light pulses flashed in unison from thousands of systems. Somewhere in the Andromeda cluster, an entire planet adjusted its rotation just to get a better signal. This was it, the most anticipated event in the universe. Tonight, Filthor purred, his voice silky and seductive, we witness the greatest romantic challenge in the known universe as contestants from across the galaxy compete for the heart of one lucky bachelorette. A holographic display spun dramatically, projecting dazzling images of swirling nebulae and glittering star clusters. Planets shimmered, suns flared, the tension was palpable. Behold our bachelorette, Lady Zyltrax! A ripple of awe swept through the crowd. Lady Zyltrax, daughter of the Varklon Empire, stepped into the spotlight, her shimmering carapace reflecting 1,000 colors at once. Pheromones radiated from her presence, sending half the audience into a frenzy. Entire civilizations had waged wars for a mere glance of her radiant beauty. Her antennae twitched ever so slightly. Greetings. Her voice echoed in 37 dimensions simultaneously. A nearby ambassador fainted. Filther's tentacles quivered with excitement as he spoke. And now, his tone dropped to a husky whisper. Let us meet the contestants. A hush fell. The anticipation was suffocating. From the methane seas of Zorvaxis 7, Kaloon the tentacled poet. The crowd swooned as Kaloon slithered forward, his tentacles undulating gracefully. His 8 eyes blinked in perfect synchrony as he recited ancient cosmic sonnets that caused nearby moons to blush. From the binary stars of Glipnor Prime, Hrx'xxt the bioluminescent dreamer twinkled, literally. His body pulsated with radiant hues, shifting colors that caused romantic eclipses on nearby planets. His bioluminescence told a tale of longing and passion that brought tears to even the most stoic of black holes. And finally, Filthor paused for dramatic effect. The lights dimmed. The galaxy held its breath. From Earth. Silence. Steve. A human man shuffled awkwardly onto the platform. Cargo shorts, flip-flops. A t-shirt that read, I paused my game for this? He waved vaguely. Sup? The crowd blinked. Filthor's left eye twitched. Ah, Steve. He struggled to regain his composure. Our human contestant. Lady Zyltrax tilted her head, antennae twitching in confusion. He is symmetrical, I suppose? Steve grinned. Yeah, I work out sometimes. He cracked open a can of something fizzy. Filthor coughed, his tentacles writhing nervously. This was not how intergalactic dating shows were supposed to go. Kaloon had studied the ancient verses of love for centuries. Hrx'xxt had perfected the art of cosmic seduction. And now, this, a man in flip-flops, drinking a carbonated beverage. Tell us, Steve, what romantic offering do you bring to win the heart of Lady Zyltrax? Steve blinked. Oh, right. He reached into his cargo shorts. The crowd leaned in, and he pulled out a packet of instant ramen. Top ramen. Chicken flavor. Silence. A nearby alien spontaneously combusted from confusion. Lady Zyltrax's compound eyes blinked in rapid succession. What is this? Steve shrugged. Noodles. You just need boiling water. Kaloon's tentacles went limp. He brought dehydrated sustenance as a courtship gift? High in sodium, too. Steve added helpfully. Good stuff. Lady Zyltrax's mandibles twitched. And this signifies affection? Well, Steve scratched his head. It's comfort food, you know? Keeps you warm. Fills you up, like a hug for your stomach. Filthor's tentacles spasmed violently. Moving on. Round 1. Impress Lady Zyltrax with a display of cultural refinement. Kaloon took the stage, undulating in a hypnotic display. His tentacles weaved mesmerizing patterns, narrating tales of ancient love that made entire galaxies sigh. Hrx'xxt projected a holographic symphony, his bioluminescence pulsating in time with the cosmic vibrations. Reality itself seemed to applaud. And Steve, I brought this. He pulled out a kazoo. Check this out. He put the kazoo to his lips and played the Imperial March. Off-key. Several ambassadors fainted. Lady Zyltrax's antennae drooped. What is that sound? Music, babe. Steve winked. It sounds like a malfunctioning distress beacon. Yeah. Steve grinned proudly. But like, catchy, right? Filther's eye twitched. Next round. But it wasn't over. Round straight your ability to adapt to alien customs. Kaloon gracefully mimicked Varklonian courtship rituals, his movements so flawless they nearly summoned an eclipse. Hrx'xxt emitted harmonic pulses calibrated to match Lady Zyltrax's pheromone frequencies. And Steve? I brought this. He held up a pack of Uno cards. Lady Zyltrax tilted her head. What is its purpose? Prepare to be amazed. Steve shuffled the deck dramatically. It's a game. A game? Her antennae twitched with curiosity. Yeah, Steve grinned. But not just any game. A game that ruins friendships, destroys alliances, and tests your soul. Lady Zyltrax's eyes narrowed. I am intrigued. Draw 4. Filthor was speechless. The cosmic audience was mesmerized, and Steve was just getting started. Filthor's tentacles were trembling. His voice, usually smooth as plasma silk, wavered ever so slightly. And now, the final round. The moment we've all been waiting for. His gaze flickered nervously towards Steve, who was currently using a toothpick to clean his teeth. The Galactic Courtship Arena, the audience gasped. Galaxies spun faster. Suns pulsed with anticipation. This was the climax, where contestants would prove their ultimate worth through a series of intergalactic trials designed to test courage, creativity, and charisma. Kaloon floated forward, his tentacles gliding effortlessly over the arena floor. His bioluminescence glowed a soft lavender hue, signifying devotion in all dimensions. He bowed deeply to Lady Zyltrax. For you, my queen, he murmured, and the sound resonated through space like a cosmic lullaby. I shall now weave a love tapestry, drawn from the stars themselves. The crowd held its breath. Kaloon's tentacles extended, reaching toward the heavens. Stars realigned, bending to his will. Patterns emerged, intricate and dazzling. Constellations reshaped themselves into a glowing portrait of Lady Zyltrax, her radiant beauty captured in an ethereal masterpiece that stretched across light years. Moons whispered secrets to passing comets. Even black holes stopped devouring matter to admire the artwork. Magnificent. Lady Zyltrax's voice was barely a whisper. Filther's tentacles fluttered approvingly. A stellar display indeed. Then, Hrx'xxt drifted forward. His body pulsated, sending waves of shimmering color cascading across the arena. My gift, he intoned, his bioluminescence shifting to hues of deep violet and electric blue, is the song of Glipnor Prime. A symphony composed in the heart of a dying star. He began to pulse, rhythmic, hypnotic. The frequencies resonated through every living being in the arena. Spectators felt their molecules vibrate in harmony. Filthor's left eye twitched. Several spectators cried softly, overcome with cosmic emotion. A sentient gas cloud from Sector 9 evaporated from sheer euphoria. Even Lady Zyltrax's mandibles quivered, her antennae dancing in perfect rhythm. Such beauty, she murmured, her compound eyes reflecting the swirling hues of the sonic masterpiece. Filthor's tentacles rippled with excitement. Truly, a performance for the ages. Then it was Steve's turn. The arena grew silent. All eyes, all appendages, all sensory receptors turned toward him. Steve was sitting in a folding lawn chair, sunglasses on, beer in hand. Yo. Lady Zyltrax blinked. Filthor blinked. Steve? Filthor's voice was hesitant. Do you have anything to present? Steve took a slow sip, paused, let out a satisfied sigh. Yup. He reached into his cargo shorts. The crowd leaned in. This is it. The moment where humanity would display its cultural brilliance, the culmination of Earth's greatest romantic traditions. Steve pulled out a yo-yo. Silence. Oh no, Filthor whispered. Oh yes. Steve grinned. Check this out. He stood up, tossed the yo-yo down. Walk the dog. The yo-yo skidded across the ground. The crowd stared around the world. The yo-yo looped in a wide arc. Rock the baby. Steve formed a triangle with the string. The yo-yo swung gently. Lady Zyltrax's mandibles twitched. What is this sorcery? Ancient Earth technique. Steve pushed his sunglasses higher on his nose. Passed down through generations. Kaloon's tentacles curled in disbelief. He brought a stringed toy? Hrx'xxt blinked in rapid pulses of ultraviolet confusion. It defies all logic. Nah, it's just physics. And then he did the impossible. Behind the back loop, the yo-yo spun, disappeared, and reappeared, in Steve's other hand. The crowd gasped. Filthor's eye twitched so violently it nearly detached. He bent space-time, a spectator cried. Impossible, Kaloon whispered. Lady Zyltrax's antenna twitched violently. He controls the strings of reality. Nah, just a sick trick. Steve shrugged, casually tossing the yo-yo back into his pocket. But thanks. Filthor was hyperventilating. Judge's decision? His voice cracked. Lady Zyltrax's eyes locked onto Steve. Her breathing quickened. This human, she took a step forward, is unlike any I have encountered. Steve sipped his beer. Yeah, I get that a lot. The arena trembled. Filthor's tentacles clutched the console for dear life. Lady Zyltrax, please, choose your champion. Her antennae twitched, her gaze unwavering. I choose. The galaxy held its breath. Him. The crowd erupted. Gas clouds dispersed in shock. Kaloon collapsed, his tentacles going limp. Hrx'xst's body dimmed, his bioluminescence flickering sadly. Filthor's tentacles flailed wildly. What? Steve blinked. Wait, seriously? Lady Zyltrax nodded solemnly. You defy all logic. Her voice was hushed, reverent. You command the fabric of reality with string. Steve scratched his neck. I mean, it's just a hobby. But it is a power, beyond comprehension. Her mandibles quivered. I must have it. Filthor's tentacles were tangled. His voice cracked. But what about the symphony? The tapestry? They did not. Lady Zyltrax paused. Vibe. Filthor's tentacles drooped. Oh no. Steve took another sip, leaned back in his chair. Told ya. And in that moment, the galaxy changed forever. Filthor's tentacles were a mess. He had seen many strange things in his tenure as supreme matchmaker of the galaxy. Species with 14 appendages performing synchronized interpretive dance, gas clouds proposing with crystallized star fragments. Once, a sentient fungus had confessed its undying love by photosynthesizing the words "be mine" into the atmosphere of an entire planet. But this was chaos. Steve had won. The yo-yo trick? Unprecedented. The lawn chair? Iconic. And now, Lady Zyltrax, one of the most sought-after beings in the galaxy, had chosen him. This can't be happening. Filthor's voice barely came out as a whisper. But it was. Kaloon had retreated to a corner, his tentacles wrapped around himself in a mournful spiral. His once glowing patterns had dimmed to a dull gray. AT's bioluminescence had flickered off completely, leaving him as nothing more than a slightly moist blob. My lord. A nervous assistant whispered to Filthor. What do we do now? Filthor blinked. What did they do now? We follow protocol, he muttered, though his voice lacked confidence. We announce the winner. But as he turned to face the audience, his antennae twitched. Something was off. The crowd, they weren't cheering, they weren't clapping, they weren't reacting at all. Thousands of eyes, stalks, antennae, sensory appendages of every imaginable variety, all locked onto Steve. Oh no, Filthor's voice trembled. They're analyzing him. Lady Zyltrax's antennae twitched as she slowly circled Steve, her multifaceted eyes reflecting his every move. You are an enigma. Her voice was barely above a whisper. Your methods defy comprehension. Steve sipped his beer casually. I just kind of wing it. Wing it? He wiped his mouth. You know, play it by ear. No plan. Just go with the flow. A collective gasp echoed across the arena. No plan? Kaloon's tentacles went rigid. He operates without strategy? Hrx'xxt, he emitted a distressed pulse of ultraviolet light. Impossible. All life operates on plans, algorithms, strategy. Not me, dude. Steve kicked back, folding his hands behind his head. I just see where it goes. Chaos. Lady Zyltrax whispered, her voice trembling. He embodies pure chaos. The crowd began to buzz. Literally. 1,000 species murmuring, clicking, and pulsing in confusion. He does not operate within logic. He rejects order. He thrives on unpredictability. A force beyond reason. Filthor's tentacles clenched tighter. Oh no, yes. Steve grinned, casually spinning the yo-yo on his finger. Lady Zyltrax's mandibles quivered. Her pheromones fluctuated so wildly that nearby drones began malfunctioning. This changes everything. Does it, though? Steve shrugged. I mean, I'm just chillin', babe. You do not perceive the ripples you create. Ripples? A being who acts without calculation. Her voice grew hushed, almost reverent. Who navigates existence by instinct alone. I mean, yeah. Steve looked confused. That's pretty much life. Life. Lady Zyltrax's mandibles clicked softly. Unpredictable, uncontrollable, ungovernable. Her gaze hardened. It must be studied. Wait, what? Steve blinked. Studied. Her antennae quivered with intensity. You are a specimen unlike any in the known universe. Filther's tentacles spasmed. Lady Zyltrax, no. Yes, her eyes gleamed. We must understand him. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Steve waved his hands. I'm not some science project, all right? But you are. Lady Zyltrax took a step closer. You defy logic. You exist outside known parameters. Look, Steve looked around, suddenly aware of how intensely everyone was staring at him. I was just trying to win a dating show, all right? Not rewrite the laws of the universe. And yet, Lady Zyltrax's voice grew softer. You have? Filthor's tentacles clutched his console so hard they left indentations. No, 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 this is bad. How bad? His assistant whispered. If they study him, Filthor's voice was barely above a tremble. If they try to understand human randomness, he gulped. The galaxy won't survive it. Steve was still waving his hands. Look, I'm flattered and all, but I'm really not that special. He's being modest. No, I'm really not. A tactic to disarm us. Seriously, I just want to finish my beer. Lady Zyltrax's gaze intensified. We must document everything. Steve's eyes widened. Everything? Your methods. My what? Your chaos. It's not chaos. I just don't care. Precisely. Oh, come on. The crowd was vibrating with excitement now. We must observe. We must analyze. We must catalog the anomaly. Guys, Steve backed away slowly. For science. Oh, crap. Filther's voice finally broke through the chaos. Stop. Everything froze. You cannot study him. Filthor's voice was desperate now. To analyze a human. His eyes darted around, his words tumbling out. To dissect his randomness. To quantify his unpredictability. Filthor's tentacles spasmed violently, reality itself. Silence. The crowd blinked. Steve took another sip. Told ya. And for the first time in recorded history, the galaxy hesitated. We must catalog the anomaly. The words echoed in Steve's head like a bad ringtone that wouldn't stop. Thousands of alien eyes stared at him, blinking, pulsing, vibrating, waiting for something, anything. Steve could feel the weight of the entire galaxy pressing down on him. Guys, Steve took a step back, hands up. I'm not an anomaly, okay? I'm just me. Precisely. Lady Zyltrax's voice was filled with awe, her antennae quivering with barely contained excitement. A being who exists beyond prediction, a force of chaos unshaped by logic. No, no, no. Steve shook his head, panic rising. I'm not chaos. I'm just lazy. Laziness. Kaloon's tentacles curled, his voice trembling. A strategic withdrawal from the constraints of reality. That's not what I meant. Steve glanced around, searching for an escape route. I just like chilling, okay? Chilling. Our arcade emitted a low-frequency hum that vibrated across dimensions. An advanced meditative state that transcends traditional temporal constraints. Oh, come on, Steve groaned, rubbing his temples. It's literally doing nothing. You guys are overthinking this. But they weren't listening. Lady Zyltrax's multifaceted eyes reflected endless possibilities as she drew closer. We must study your methods. You don't want that. We do. Trust me. We must. Steve blinked. All right. He took a deep breath, eyes narrowing. You asked for it. He sat down, again, in the lawn chair, sunglasses on, beer in hand. Observe. Silence. Lady Zyltrax tilted her head. What are you doing? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Steve leaned back, took a slow sip, let out a satisfied sigh. And now? Lady Zyltrax's voice was almost reverent. Still nothing. Her antennae twitched wildly. But why? Steve adjusted his sunglasses. Because I can. The arena was silent. Then something broke. Reality itself shuddered. 1,000 alien civilizations blinked simultaneously. Supercomputers short-circuited. Sentient AIs experienced existential dread. Kaloon's voice was barely above a whisper. He controls time. Hrx'xt's bioluminescence pulsed erratically. No, he transcends it. Lady Zyltrax's breathing quickened. A being who bends the universe by refusing to engage with it. I told you. Filthor's voice cracked as he clutched his console. I warned you, trying to understand him will unravel everything. No. Lady Zyltrax's mandibles quivered. This is knowledge the galaxy needs. Knowledge? Steve raised an eyebrow. Lady, I'm drinking a beer. Fermented elixir of unpredictable consequence. Steve blinked. No, it's just beer. But what does it signify? It signifies, I was thirsty? The crowd gasped. Thirst. Lady Zyltrax murmured, her voice trembling, a primal urge rooted in the chaos of survival. Steve sighed. You're really overcomplicating this. And yet, she leaned closer. Your simplicity hides complexity beyond comprehension. Steve took another sip, barely holding back a groan. You know what? Fine. You want to know the secret? The arena leaned in. The secret of humanity. Silence. We don't care. A black hole somewhere in the Andromeda cluster. Hiccuped. What do you mean? Lady Zyltrax's voice wavered. I mean, Steve scratched his neck lazily. We don't care about all this overthinking stuff. We just do things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but we roll with it. Roll with it? Yeah. Steve took another sip. Sometimes life hands you lemons, so you make lemonade. Filther's eyes widened in terror. Oh no? And sometimes, Steve smirked, tilting his sunglasses down slightly. You just eat the lemons and confuse everyone. Reality shuddered. Kaloon's tentacles recoiled. This is madness. Lou blinked rapidly. They weaponize unpredictability. Not really. Steve shrugged. It's just fun. Lady Zyltrax's antennae twitched violently. Fun? Yeah. Steve stretched, arms behind his head. You should try it sometime. The crowd froze. Lady Zyltrax's mandibles quivered. You suggest that I try fun? Why not? But the consequences, the unknown variables. That's the point. Her compound eyes reflected endless simulations of potential chaos. But what if it goes wrong? What if it doesn't? Reality hiccuped. Galactic probabilities shifted. And then she smiled. Show me. Filther's tentacles collapsed. No, yeah. Steve's grin was pure mischief. Let's do this. Lady Zyltrax's mandibles clicked excitedly. Teach me this fun. All right, Steve stood up. Step 1, he handed her a water balloon. What is this? It's filled with water, Steve grinned. And when you throw it, yes, it explodes. Lady Zyltrax blinked. Explodes? In a fun way? Fun? Explosion? Exactly. Silence. Lady Zyltrax's antennae twitched, and then she threw it. Splat! A nearby ambassador screamed. A plasma cloud evaporated in confusion. And Lady Zyltrax laughed. More. Filther's tentacles flailed in panic. No, stop! The galaxy can't handle this. Too late. Steve smirked, tossing her another balloon. Welcome to Earth, babe. Reality? Shattered. And somewhere, a black hole laughed.